This is the culmination of 3 very long weeks for our community. It is the outcry of a very challenged young man, and we are never going to be able to put a ration behind these acts. I am proud of the men and women of the Austin Police Department. They were willing to put their life on the line because of the danger this suspect had posed to our community.
Come to find it, it's only a hop, skip, and less than a half a mile. You don't really know your neighbor.
A quiet neighborhood becomes a crime scene. Right now, Pflugerville residents are coming home after their neighborhood turned into the site of a massive investigation into Austin's serial bomber.
This morning, police tracked down Mark Condit, the man they say went on a weeks-long terror spree, setting off bombs across Austin and the surrounding areas. Condit killed himself last night after he detonated a bomb inside his car along I-35 in Round Rock.
Tonight, police continue to look for answers at 2 scenes. They spent the day searching through the wreckage of Condit's car. They also have been combing through evidence at his Pflugerville home, where they say they found a room full of bomb-making supplies.
Police say he made a total of 7 bombs. 6 of them exploded. The first was on March 2nd at a home in Northeast Austin. 1 man was killed. Last week, 2 separate explosions in Southeast Austin left a teen dead and another woman injured. An explosion in Southwest Austin hurt 2 men. Then another package exploded at a FedEx facility in Schertz. Condit used the 7th and final bomb on himself. We have live team coverage tonight as we continue to learn more about this investigation. Let's start with CBS Austin's Melanie Torrey. Mel, police found a new piece of evidence today they say could answer a lot of questions.
Yes, Hema, and the big question everyone wants answered right now is why. Police say they found a 25-minute-long recording on the suspect's cell phone. In it, he talks about the personal challenges that compelled him to start these bombings.
Local, state, and federal leaders came together tonight, pulling back the curtain on their Austin bombings investigation. Police Chief Brian Manley revealing new information about the possible motive.
We are never going to be able to put a ration behind these acts, but what I can tell you, having listened to that recording, he does not at all mention anything about terrorism, nor does he mention anything about hate, but instead it is the outcry of a very challenged young man talking about challenges in his personal life that led him to this point.
Police say the suspect described in detail all of the bombs he built, all 7 now accounted for.
Can never be called a happy ending, but it's a damn good one for the people of this community and people state of Texas.
Travis County District Attorney Margaret Moore says her office was prepared to seek the death penalty had he been captured alive. She adds the leadership she saw from Manley is second to none.
I can also tell you that your police chief made decisions in my presence that were tough to make, but he made them well, and I believe he saved lives.
I've seen the video of what happened last night. You literally had Austin police officers running towards a vehicle that had an explosive device in it. That detonated. That is unbelievable courage. Those are heroes.
As we honor our heroes, we also remember those lives lost.
We can never forget the victims.
The governor saying there's no telling how many more victims there might have been had the suspect not been stopped.
And police tell us this is still an open investigation, so there are a lot of details they cannot release to the public just yet. And while all of the known bombs have been accounted for, they're still encouraging the public to be cautious and aware. Reporting live in downtown Austin, Melanie Torrey, CBS Austin News.
Thanks, Mel. Condit's family says his actions leave them overwhelmingly devastated. Condit grew up in Pflugerville and was the oldest of 4 children. Neighbors say he was homeschooled and lived in the same house up until 3 to 4 years ago. They say they never saw any warning signs of Mark being a troubled young man.
As neighbors, longtime neighbors and stuff, it's unimaginable. The kids were always great. Can't say enough good things.
So far, officers haven't found any evidence his family knew anything about the criminal activity.
Hello?
Condit's home was the site of a massive investigation today. Within just the last hour, Pflugerville police did give the all clear, allowing his neighbors to return home. CBS Austin's Christian Flores is live tonight. Christian, a very scary day for people there.
That's right, and well, pretty much the entire neighborhood has reopened, though there is still one block closed off. That is where Mark Condit's home is. There's only about 4 homes here, still evacuated, but most neighbors have been cleared to return to their homes. Spoke with neighbors. They say they're glad they can return, but they're still in utter disbelief they live so close to the Austin serial bomber.
The troopers were coming down the street.
When Lynn Brown saw police officers in her neighborhood this morning,
and I need you to put this blue tape on your front door,
she knew the police activity had to do with Austin serial bomber Mark Condit,
so that we know that you've been notified and that you've left.
After they had her evacuate her home. She lives down the street from Condit's Pflugerville home, where federal agents continue their investigation, finding several explosives inside. Because of the danger in this phase of the investigation, police had to evacuate homes within several blocks.
There is also some potential homemade explosives, and so we had to address that. And our biggest concern was to make sure that nobody else gets hurt.
Neighbors like Brown say they're glad police played it safe.
If it had been a situation where a bomb had gone off and people had been injured, I definitely would rather that we be gone.
Brown was allowed back this afternoon, but several neighbors had to stay away for most of the day into the evening. As the investigation continues, neighbors continue to be in a state of disbelief, finding out the man behind the bombings that paralyzed Austin this month was just a few doors down.
It just has a feeling of nothing's real. To look at something that is home, a quiet, safe little home, and for it to not feel quiet or safe.
Then all of a sudden come to find out it's only a hop, skip, and less than a half a mile. You don't really know your neighbors.
And with the investigation still ongoing, officials expressed cautious optimism, but you could certainly see on their faces and hear in their voices that today's development have provided a sigh of relief. Reporting live in Pflugerville, Christian Flores, CBS Austin News.
Thank you, Christian. Police say this arrest is a culmination of a long 3 weeks for the Austin community. Throughout that time, police had leads and a person of interest. It was just in the past 48 hours or so, things changed. Police were able to narrow down their search to Mark Condit. The big break came from photos and witnesses after the suspect dropped off a package at FedEx. After that, police say they were confident this was the suspect. Now, at some point on Tuesday, another big break. Authorities filed a federal warrant to arrest Condit. Then, today, the biggest development, when Condit turned on his cell phone. Police tracked him to a hotel in Round Rock. SWAT and federal authorities surrounded it, but waited. Condit then drove off, and police followed him along I-35. That's when he detonated the bomb inside his car.
We're also learning more about the lead up to Condit's run-in with police last night. A Lone Star Fugitive Task Force official tells us Condit was sleeping in his car in the parking lot of a hotel in Round Rock when officers found him. That hotel is only half a mile from where he eventually pulled over. He was not staying at that hotel at the time.
We never found him until last night at the hotel in Round Rock. Once we find the car, we established surveillance at the hotel and got a game plan together to try to put him in custody.
A front desk worker for the hotel also says several guests told him the car matching the description of the suspect vehicle was parked in their parking lot.
Now they're piecing together his every move. Investigators say Condit bought most of his bomb-making supplies here locally.
They say he went to the Pflugerville Home Depot near his home. Investigators went to that store and they were able to see exactly what he bought. That included nails and possibly battery packs. Little did employees know he was building deadly weapons.
It's like, where is he buying these components, the recipe for this deadly weapon? And never thought it'd be Home Depot.
Investigators also say he bought a sign there that he used to string up the tripwire that was used in the Southwest Austin attack. That attack injured 2 people Sunday. Tonight, we're also getting a look at a chilling shipping label he used to mail off these package bombs from a South Austin FedEx. You see it right there. The sender's name is listed as Kelly Kilmore. He wanted it to look like they were coming from a South Austin neighborhood. That address traces back to the small neighborhood that's made up of just about 60 homes. And tonight, neighbors there say they want to know why the bomber picked their street.
How did he get the name of our street? Because to be honest, this street only came up on Google Map like a month ago.
The exact address the bomber said the packages were coming from doesn't exist. Neighbors say it's going to be a while until they feel normal again.
Tonight, friends and family are remembering the victims of these attacks. 39-year-old Anthony House was killed in the first explosion earlier this month. His family remembers him as a kind family man who was always the most intelligent person in the room. He leaves behind a young daughter.
17-year-old Draylon Mason was killed in one of the blasts in southeast Austin last week. His family says he was smart, talented, and kind. He'd recently been accepted into UT's Butler School of Music. Today, his family sent out a statement saying, in part, "We want to thank the law enforcement officials who have worked diligently on this case. We have been humbled by the overwhelming support of the community and of those who loved Draylon as we did. Our hearts also go out to the families who have been impacted by these senseless crimes, and we pray for them as well." Returning to normal.
Had some worries about coming to the park today, but since they caught him, I felt a lot safer coming.
How Austinites are working to get their city back after weeks of fear following the bomb attacks.
A warning from the Austin mayor, the lesson he says we could all learn from these attacks to help each other keep safe.
And our weather as of late has been in cruise control. Sunny skies, comfortable temperatures. I'm tracking the potential, though, of seeing a big change. Showers and storms, and some could be strong to severe. When that change happens, ahead in your CBS Austin 7 Day.
Today, police returned to the site of a suspicious package from yesterday. They worked to secure a FedEx facility near the airport where a package carrying an explosive turned up yesterday. Employees there were dismissed early while police investigated. They say that facility has now been secured.
Now, early on, police were reluctant to issue the all clear today. They continue to recommend we keep our guard up, but even though they do not believe any more package bombs have been sent out. But some people in Austin are ready to see this case closed. We went out to Zilker Park today, and families we spoke to say they're wiping away weeks of concern over where the bomber might strike next.
I think they were feeling more mad than terrorized. And if that was what he was trying to do, he was achieving his goal in making us think about our daily routines.
Authorities are urging everyone to stay vigilant and continue to be aware of our surroundings.
Mayor Adler also sent a message to Austinites today about a lesson we could learn in the wake of these attacks.
The legacy of this event for us should be that we walk across the street and introduce ourselves to our neighbors, or down the street or across the hall. We should know our neighbors better than we do.
Adler also says talking with your neighbors could help relieve some of the stress from these attacks.
In the wake of these attacks, Austin City Council is working to name Brian Manley the permanent chief here in Austin. Manley has been the interim chief since 2016 when former chief Art Acevedo moved to Houston. Some council members say he has done more than enough to earn the position of top cop. Austin City Council will vote on that tomorrow. We will continue to follow this story in the coming days as we learn more about a possible motive and if they release that video. You can always find the latest information here on air and online at cbsaustin.com.
Developing tonight, a deadly crash in Liberty Hill. DPS troopers say 2 people were killed this afternoon in the crash near the intersection of 183 and Highway 29. 183 was closed for several hours while police investigated. It's unclear right now what caused that crash.
Now, weather with Chief Storm Tracker meteorologist Chikage Windler.
Little sigh of relief today. People enjoying the weather, going out to Dell Match Play, or just going to Zilker Park.
Yeah, whether you're just out and about, walking, running, a lot less concern.
Yeah.
And the weather has been cooperating beautifully and will continue to do so, as long as you don't mind an increase in a little heat and a little humidity as we head into this upcoming weekend. Outside right now, still some clear sky. We'll see a little bit more cloud cover creep into the picture tomorrow, but here's the bottom line. The rest of this week will end on a dry note. Next week, a different story, turning stormy, especially Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The possibility exists for maybe some strong to severe thunderstorms, though it's too far out right now for any specifics. One thing I can be specific about, it's been a warm month of March. We've only had 6 days with below average temperatures. Today happened to be one of them. This morning, how chilly it was. Average temp running 5+ degrees above normal. And we're going to continue that trend. Look at this as we see this temp tracker. Normal high is 74 degrees every day for the next 5, well above that. So plan on the sunscreen and plan on warming things up. A little bit of patchy cloud cover outside right now. What that will also do, along with our southeast winds and increasing clouds through tomorrow, it will also mean our lows tonight will not bottom out nearly as much. There were some spots in the upper 30s this morning. Big difference for tomorrow morning. 53 our overnight low, stars and a few high clouds. Then through your Thursday, a little more high cloud cover, but still beautiful all the way up to 80 degrees. So whether you're taking in the rodeo or perhaps heading out to Dell Technologies match play, things are looking good. Lunchtime, 70 degrees by 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We reach 80. Going to be a little on the breezy side, especially into the afternoon. Southeast winds about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Here's your future track computer model, and you can see 7 a.m. Most spots waking up in the 50s. Warming quickly by lunchtime to around 70 degrees, and clouds may try to increase late day up to a high temperature of 80. So a beautiful Thursday on the way. By Friday, we start to bring in a little bit more cloud cover. We remain dry. Heading into Saturday, 87 degrees. By Sunday, 89. I snuck in a 10% rain chance, but honestly, the best bets for rain will hold off until next week. And once that rain comes, Tuesday, Wednesday, and on into Thursday, March 29th, computer models are giving us a good dose. Right now, the European computer model saying 2.5 inches possible. The GFS American computer model giving us about 1.8. We do need that rain. Right now, we are nearly 4 inches below normal since the beginning of the year as far as rainfall is concerned. As you can see, quiet the next few days, lonely 10% rain chances for Sunday and Monday. Then Tuesday, a 40% chance of showers and storms, ramping up to a 70% chance on Wednesday. And though it's not on this map, by Thursday, a week from tomorrow, I think an 80% chance of storms, and some could be heavy.
You know, I regret that we didn't do it at the time, and I think we got that wrong.
A scandal at Facebook that changes the CEO promises to make after users' personal information may have been compromised. Developing tonight, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg is speaking up against or about a scandal at his social networking site. It's been more than 2 days since news broke that consulting firm Cambridge Analytica passed on Facebook user data to the Trump campaign, possibly in violation of the social network's privacy standards. Tonight, Zuckerberg is promising to make some changes.
We're going to do a full investigation into every app that had access to a large amount of data from around this time before we locked down the platform. And we're now not just going to take people's word for it.
Facebook has been named in a proposed class action lawsuit accusing it of negligence. It has lost nearly $50 billion in market value.
Happening now, yet another nor'easter slamming the East Coast. This is the 4th major winter storm to hit in less than a month. Tens of thousands of homes and businesses are without power right now. Some of them are in communities that had just gotten the power back on from the last storm. Some areas could see more than a foot of snow and wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour. Ouch, hard to be up there right now. Bob, so now with sports, the Dell Technologies match play begins.
Defending champion Dustin Johnson, Phil Mickelson, Rory McIlroy all lose on day one. Of course, all eyes around here were on Jordan Spieth, but all interest turned to Justin Thomas. What made his match as unique as you'll find in CBS Austin Sports next.
This is the Thomas J. Henry Sports Desk.
I'm pretty sick of soup, and I love mac and cheese, but I wore that out, and applesauce and Jell-O. It's like it doesn't want me to eat or something. I don't know, but I don't need to be losing any weight. I'm trying to put it on.
Hema says there's no such thing as being sick of that stuff. A dentist pulled Justin Thomas's wisdom teeth a couple weeks ago. Then just before match play this week, strep throat got him. What made his match super interesting? That's coming up in a sec. Jordan Spieth is right at home, not just in his return to Austin, which he considers his second home behind Dallas, but at home in match play in general. Spieth 9-4-1 in WGC match play all time, and said he hoped this tournament would spark a little more aggressive play this week. Spieth taking on fellow Masters champion Charles Schwartzel in his opening match on the 8th hole. Spieth needs this 10-footer to have the hole, and he goes Drano. That match stayed all square until they got down by the water, and Spieth erupted, winning 3 straight holes to widen the gap. He wins 2-1, a terrific start.
You have to essentially win every single match to advance. I mean, there will be instances where people will lose matches in advance out of group stage, but it's a win or go home type situation in my mind, and got the job done today.
Fellow Longhorns Dylan Fratelli and Johnny Vegas open their match play today as well. Brian Harmon drops in this birdie putt on 11. He led Vegas one up from 11 through 17, and then on 18, Vegas needs that birdie to have, and he drops it. Vegas and Harmon split their match. As for Fratelli, he only led one up once, but never trailed more than 2 down. He fought back to 1 down on 18, but couldn't win the hole. Xander Schauffele beats him 1 up. All right, back to Justin Thomas. He played in one of the strangest matches of the day. Thomas taking on his buddy Luke List, who bent his putter and had to putt with his sand wedge for the final 11 holes. He actually won 2 of 3 holes to get within 1, but then missed that birdie on 18, and Thomas wins 2 up.
I'm a lot more complete golfer. I feel a lot better about my game, my mental game. I've made a couple bad decisions out there in terms of lines and clubs, but we're lucky that we had a lead to get away with it. But we can't let that happen anymore the rest of the week.
The only team in the country to beat Baylor this season, UCLA. For the 4th straight year, Karen Aston is taking her program to the Sweet 16, where the Longhorns will face UCLA.
Both teams have 2 seniors that have played at a really, really high level all year long. Players that are playing with a sense of urgency that they don't want the season to end. So it should be an interesting game.
We're doing it for our seniors. They put a lot into this program. Ariel and Brooke, they put a lot into this program. So we should come out hard every game for them and play for them.
Texas opened spring football yesterday with a first look at some of the newcomers on the roster. Guys like Anthony Cook and Caden Stearns, who enrolled early, are hoping to make an immediate impact as freshmen, as well as 2 freshman quarterbacks that just hope to start with a good impression.
The 2 quarterbacks, young quarterbacks, they didn't look out of place, which was good. Obviously, they screwed their fair share of things up, but they look like they belong.
Stay with us. We're back after this.
Tonight we continue to learn more about the suspect in a nearly 3-week-long investigation into bombings around Austin. Police say the suspect, Mark Condit, left behind a 25-minute video recording of himself admitting to building the bombs. Police say they have found all 7 bombs he built and admitted to, and they don't think there are any more out there, but as a precaution, they say it's always a good idea to be vigilant.
And of course, we will continue to follow this story as we learn more about the investigation. We'll have any new developments from overnight tomorrow on CBS Austin This Morning. They start at 4:30 a.m.
It'll be a great day to check out the golf course tomorrow with the sun and weather.
Absolutely. Weather is going to be great for the rest of this week. Dry, just warming up. Next week, we've got some storm concerns, but not until Tuesday through Thursday. So until then, go out, enjoy. Rodeos going on still, Dell match play, so lots to do.
Yeah,
lots going on. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a great night. Colbert's next.
Good night.